Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. So unless you guys have been living under a rock, you've probably heard about the new album from Drake and 21 Savage called Her Loss. It's an amazing album and it's got some super nice songs on it. I actually got super inspired by how it switched over from something super soulful to some super hard trap stuff. So that's exactly what I'm gonna show you guys today. We're gonna make it all from scratch. So we're actually gonna start off with making the soulful beat first, and then we're gonna switch it over to the trap stuff. And lastly, we're gonna make a super nice transition so they fit together in one beat, just like this. Woo. This sounds crazy. Alright, so now we're in FL. So the first thing I'm going to do is just go up here and lower the BPM to about 80 right here. And since we're starting off with a soulful sample, I'm just going to open up this piano in Contact right here. And since I've actually never shown you guys how to make a soulful sample, I'm going to explain some of the steps right here. Key I'm going to be working in is C minor. And we're actually just going to start off by making a C minor chord like this. Extend these notes to about here, but this is definitely not a soulful chord. So what you want to do is actually go down to this G sharp right here and use this as the root note. Definitely make sure to keep the velocity a bit down so it's not so harsh. For the next chord, we're just going to start with this G right here. Then you want to make a G minor chord and just add one on top right here. I'm purposely leaving some space here just to make it a bit more natural, and then we're going to copy this over right here. But for this last part, I definitely want to switch it up a bit. So I'm actually going to copy this over right here, and then we're just going to pitch it down by 2, shorten it right here, and just add this chord over here again. Now, before I play the whole chord progression, there's definitely one super important step when it comes to these soulful samples. You definitely want to make them feel a bit more realistic. So since they're actually all on time, it's not going to sound natural if they're all hitting on time like this. So you definitely want to adjust them up, and I actually feel like it sounds a bit better when you do it manually. So actually you can just hold Alt on your keyboard and move all these notes slightly to the side. So that's pretty much the chord progression we're going to use for the piano. So now I'm quickly just going to go to the effects and add some reverb and some EQ. Now the chord progression for the piano is sounding pretty nice, but we definitely want to add some layers to it just to fill it out a bit more. So I'm actually just going to open up Analog Lab 5, and I'm just using this Forgive Me preset right here. Then I'm just going to copy the exact same piano pattern. I'm just going to pitch it up by 1 octave. Randomize the velocity a bit. Then I just also copy the exact same effects we have from the first piano over to the second sound. Now for the third sound, I definitely want to add a bass. So I'm just using this Scarby bass in Contact, but I'm actually using the palm muted version of the bass. So for the bass, you pretty much want to follow the root notes like this. But just to add a bit more movement to the sample, I'm actually going to add some accent notes like this. And maybe we can add something here as well. Just for this last part, we're going to switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to shorten this, maybe something like this right here. So the bass definitely fills out a bit for the low end of the sample. Now the next thing I want to add to the sample is some strings. So I actually just opened up this Symphony Orchestra plugin right here. It's actually from Spitfire Audio and it's completely free to use. So if you don't have any nice sounding strings for vintage samples, you can actually get this for free and use it yourself. Now for the pattern, I'm actually going to copy the exact same top notes right here we have from the piano, and we're just going to paste them in on the string like this. Now I definitely want to adjust it all the way to the start of the sample. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just fill them out a bit more. So I'm actually just going to copy all these notes right here and pitch them down by 1 octave. Then I want to fill out these spaces right here. So a super nice way to actually fill out these spaces right here is actually by looking at the other chords we have right here. Since we know these chords are actually complementing each other, it's a super nice way to transition between the notes. So we're actually going to use the exact same notes we have right here, since we know it complements this chord right here. Then for this part, we can just use the same chord right here. Then we can just copy this over. And then for the second part, I'm actually just going to copy this one, but we're just going to extend it all the way like this. Now with the strings, it sounds like this. Right, so this is sounding super fire. Now we just need to add some effects to these strings right here. Pretty much just some reverb and some EQ should do the trick. Now, since we're making like vintage and soulful samples, there are pretty much some go-to ways you want to add vocals. The first thing I would recommend is actually by doing your own vocals. If you guys actually just sing into the mic and process your own vocals, you can pretty much get the exact vocals you want. But I'm not going to do it myself for this video right here. Obviously, since I'm recording a video, I can't make my own vocals. But you can definitely find some nice vocals on YouTube. If you're using Spice, you can also find some nice gospel sounds right there. But since I know a lot of you guys actually use Arcade, I'm going to show you guys how you can make some soulful stuff by actually using phrases and vocals you can find in Arcade. So I just opened up this low feeling bank and hooked right here, and the way you guys can actually find some nice sounding vocals on this is actually if you click inside the note, you can see right here you can actually extend it all the way so you get a whole phrase. Usually it just cut up in some single parts here and there, but you can actually go in here and manipulate the whole phrase so you can actually get a real sounding vocal phrase.
Got me feeling so low. Oh God, breaking me down, breaking me down.
I'm just gonna pitch up the vocal by 1 octave, add a lot of reverb, and then we just want to EQ it out. Yeah, this is perfect. So that's pretty much it for the soulful sample. So now let me quickly just show you guys the drums for this one. So for the drums, you definitely want to find some boom bap or old school drums. So pretty much something that's going to fit together with the soulful sample we just made. Now, since we're pretty much going to use this soulful part for the intro, I'm going to keep the drums pretty simple for this one, and then we can make it more complex for the trap vibe we're going to make later. Now we pretty much just need a kick for this one, and I think that should be it. So this is pretty much how the whole soulful part sounds. This part right here is going to fit perfectly for the intro, but we definitely need to make a super nice switch up for the trap part. So for now, we're just going to put this soulful part on the first bar right here. Then I'm just going to open up a new pattern like this, and we're going to start off making the trap part. So for the sample on the trap part, I'm actually just going to start off with this habit preset right here in Analog Lab 5. So to make it easy, we're just going to keep the same BPM and also the same key. So for the pattern right here, we're going to make it super simple, but I'm also going to make it a bit repetitive. So it's going to be pretty catchy. We can start on the C right here. Go down like this, maybe down to this F. Yeah, that sounds nice. Now let's do this, and maybe a D sharp right here. Just switch these two right here, see how that sounds. It's subtle, but it's definitely super subtle, but it adds a huge difference. Now I'm just going to layer that piano with these mallets right here. So just copy the exact same pattern, just pitch it down by 1 octave. Now we definitely need to add some effects to that. Start off with some halftime. 37%. Some RC22. And this right here is the sauce for these melodies right here. This effect route sounds crazy. Add some reverb to that as well. This kickstart too as well. About 80% on a mix. Lastly, just some EQ. Just add these lower notes too. Lastly, I just added this effect from Arcade right here. I'm just gonna add some reverb to the Arcade and also some EQ. Now let's quickly just do the drums for the trap part. So all the drums I'm using for this part is from my No Limit drum kit. First link down below. Now I actually have this Drake snare in my drum kit as well. I think it's gonna fit perfectly for this one. Now the trick with these snares right here is definitely to adjust some of the velocities on them. So I definitely like lowering these second ones right here. Now I think it's time for the 808. Now I think we just need to layer this 808 with a kick, and that should pretty much be it. Now we pretty much have both beats right here. Now I definitely want to add a cool transition between them so it has a nice switch up. The way I actually think I'm going to do this is by going to my drum kit, and in my effects map I actually have this tape right here. So I'm just going to drag this in, and you can add two of them right here, but I'm actually going to make one of them a bit unique. I'm going to pan it to the left, then I'm just going to pan this one to the right, and we're going to lower the volume a bit as well. Now let me just hear how this sounds. This sounds crazy. So now I'm pretty much just gonna arrange this real quick. Alright, so before I show you guys the whole beat, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys need any kits, sample packs and so on, I've actually got plenty of free stuff on my website. It's beatsbymarko.com. The link is of course down below. I seriously hope you guys enjoyed this one and learned something new. That's pretty much it for me, and I hope you guys enjoyed the beat.